need certainty. The Tories' sticking plaster plan for a temporary customs arrangement with no clarity on how long it will last and no British say can only prolong uncertainty and put jobs and prosperity at risk. Second, a sensible deal needs a guarantee of a strong single market relationship. Talk of settling for a downgraded Canada-style arrangement is an option popular only on the extremes of the Conservative Party. It would be a risk to our economy, jobs, and investment in our schools, our hospitals, and all of our vital public services. Third, a deal that works for Britain must also guarantee that our country does not fall behind the European Union in workers' rights or protections for consumers and the environment, which should be a world leader. Our country should be a world leader in rights and standards. We won't let this happen. We won't let this Conservative government use Brexit as an excuse for a race to the bottom in protections, to rip up rights at work, or to expose our children to chlorinated chicken by running down our product standards. A good Brexit plan for this country is not just about what can be negotiated with Brussels. It must also include a radical programme of investment and real change across all of the regions of Britain and the nations that make up the UK. Brexit should be the catalyst to invest in our regions and infrastructure, bringing good jobs and real control to local communities and people. If the Prime Minister is unable to negotiate an agreement that can win a majority in Parliament and work for the whole country, Labour's alternative plan can, and I believe must, take its place. The deal I've outlined has always been possible, putting the economy and jobs first, as both Labour and indeed the CBI have argued in different ways for some time. In January, Caroline called for the UK to remain in a customs union with the EU for the long term. And we agree with the CBI too on the need for a deal that guarantees a strong single market relationship. There is a better deal to be had, and it's not too late to achieve it if the government has the courage to change course or stand aside and let an election take place. The responsibility for how we got to this point certainly lies with the government, both in Downing Street and in the predecessor incumbent to Downing Street as well. But there is a bigger story to tell. In 2016, the country voted to leave the European Union against an economic backdrop of post-crash Britain. 1 million families using food banks, 4 million children living in poverty, and real wages that are lower today than they were in 2010. In towns and cities hollowed out by industrial decline and neglect, with boarded up shops, closed youth centres, many people voted for Brexit as an act of protest against a political system that simply was not delivering for them. At the root of this was Britain's profoundly unbalanced economy, chronic underinvestment and failed economic policy. That needs to change. The shape of our economy after Brexit will not only be determined by the text negotiated in Brussels, it will be driven by political decisions about the direction we wish to take for this country. We could try to carry on as before, with economic thinking that has fueled instability, insecurity, and brought about crisis. Or we can embrace change and build a more equal and more prosperous society that meets people's hopes and needs. So today, I not only want to talk about getting a good deal with the EU, but about getting a good deal for all of our country's people.